The judgment delivered by Justice S. Okongo, those occupying the over 970 acres of land have up to December 31st to vacate or be evicted from the property by Kirima'S estate administrators. Now, the judgment was a culmination of a long protracted court battle between the administrators and residents who some acquired the property through self-help groups. Here are the full details, also looking at what is happening in Mavoko. Watch.
Sisi tuko tayari kunegotiate na the family kwa sababu sisi tulipokuja hapa wale walituuzia shamba walisema shamba ni lao. Tukanunua, tukaonyeshwa shares, zile certificate tukapewa, lakini tukienda kuzaidi baadaye ndio tukaambiwa kwamba shamba si lao, ni la Kirima. Kwa hivyo tungependa family ya Kirima pia watuonee huruma,
tusikilizane ili wasitubomole, watuzie, kwa sababu wakati tulinunua tulidanganywa, walisema hii shamba ni ya wazungu. Wazungu washatoka, lakini sahi tulisikia ni ya Kirima na tumekubali. Jaji ile maneno amesema tumekubali yote, na mimi niko na watoto 9, sina mahali ya kuenda.
Hii estate yetu ni familia karibu ya 1000, kwa hiyo 88 acres. Tuko na karibu ya familia 1000 ambazo zimejenga hapa.
Society officials arraigned over Mavoko land saga. Now, 3 Aim Malu Kenya society officials Julius Mutua, Pascal Kiseli, and Alex Kialo Mulemi have been arraigned in Nairobi over the disputed Portland cement land in Mavoko. Now, the 3 are among suspects also questioned by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations last week over land fraud belonging to the East African Portland cement, where thousands of families were rendered homeless after their houses were demolished.
Applicants need the respondents to be in custody so that they can assist in some of the investigations. The owner, the applicant is apprehensive of the list of them, the owner.
Fails Kamwene caucus to champion Mount Kenya agenda. A group of leaders from Mount Kenya region dubbed Kamwene convened a meeting at Ufangano House, bringing together various stakeholders from the region. Led by NAK Kenya leader Martha Karua, the group says their contention is meant to champion political and economic interests of the region, accusing the Kenya Kwanza administration of mismanagement and political divisions. Here is Martha Karua speaking about the Kamwene caucus.
And it is for us to talk about our interests, political, economic, socio, cultural, spiritual, and also to unite us so that we solidify our voice. We are not talking about elections. We are talking about the unity of the people of Mount Kenya. And Kalonzo Musyoka is our brother. We are in Azimio to stay, but we still have Kamwene caucus to caucus about Mount Kenya.
What we're not about is the region and the interests of the region. And just for clarity, politics is about interests. So those detractors who get edgy simply because the mountain is acting together, hakuna haja ya kufanya hivyo. Politics is about interest, and we, the people of the mountain, stand up in the Republic of Kenya to state our case. Thank you.
But staying on politics, a dialogue committee agreed to consider proposals to lowering cost of living. Now, the National Dialogue Committee has agreed to factor in the cost of living as a thematic area in its bipartisan discussions. Now, speculation was rife that the 10-member committee comprised of Kenya Kwanza and Azimio Coalition associates had failed to agree on the inclusion of the cost of living in the engagement during the submission process. Now, here are the reports on the start of the 5-day report writing retreat.
We have started tackling the difficult question on the cost of living this afternoon. We have resolved that beginning early next week, because this very difficult issue of the cost of living is not an issue that we can negotiate on and agree on in one sitting. And we have therefore resolved that beginning next week, we shall be inviting a number of experts to help us to crack the numbers.
It is in the framework agreement that we adopted when we first began that as we progress with our deliberations, we may want to recall some experts, we may want to involve a call expert opinion.
Since last week, we did get the extension approval by both Senate and the National Assembly. Therefore, we have another 30 days from the 28th of October to the 27th, 28th of November. And we will endeavor to be able to conclude on this process long before then.
We know that Kenyans across the political divide are feeling the heat of gharama ya maisha. And I want to assure Kenyans that we are dealing with it head on.
The issue of delayed communication on the changes we have proposed is of such concern that it might form part of the agenda when the House resumes tomorrow.
Away from bipartisan talks to farmers, hope reforms led by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua will bear fruit. Now, the coffee crisis in the country, farmers are crossing fingers hoping that the coffee reforms championed and being pushed by the government will bear fruit and turn their fortunes around, even as a standoff between government and coffee marketeers persists. Now, for most farmers, the dwindling returns from the black gold has left them barely surviving, and this is why, despite the losses, some farmers are clinging onto hope that someday it will regain its lost glory. Here are the farmers speaking to the media.
There was some time used to be very profitable, being paid in time, and sometime getting what you are hoping. We don't have a constant price. After delivery, you don't know what you'll get after. It is just guess. Sometimes you are aiming higher, you get half of whatever you are hoping to get, and that is a very great challenge.
Tunafika pahali mtu anaona kama ameshoka juu ya bei ile inatokana kwa kahawa. Sengine tunakaa unasikia ati tunalipo kwa 50 bobo. Hiyo 50 haiwezi katosheka.
If that is done, I think most of the farmer will have that confidence, and even the production will increase. Yeah, if they have that confidence and if they knew they'll get a minimum of 80.
Tunauziwa dawa ambayo haistahili. Tukienda kupiga kahawa, matokeo inakuwa mbaya. Hiyo kwanza washuge ile wakora wako huko kwa mandawa, watuondelee hizo kateroze. Juu hiyo kwanza ndio inatuumiza.
I'm an official, but most of the time I can't tell you who bought that coffee. But some we get, but in the small quantity. So if we could have a proper contact with whoever who is buying, we can communicate with them and we can bargain, and I think that we can improve a bit.
Sisi watu wengi ni wale wako kara zao za chati imekwisha. Hata wale wanakuja akiona mkulima wa kahawa anakuwa maskini. Ile serikali inafanya mambo ya kupunguza katero za kahawa, wajaribu na waigie kabisa kuwafukuza.
Well, from tea now to Kenya Pipeline takes over refineries after cabinet. Okay, now following the cabinet approval allowing Kenya Pipeline Company to take over the Mori-bound Kenya Petroleum Refineries Limited, the process of rehabilitating the facility and increase its storage capacity has begun. Now, KPC Managing Director Joe Sang says the takeover of the facility will see the optimum utilization of the new Kipevu Oil Terminal 2 and positioning of Kenya as a premium trading hub for petroleum and associated products in the region. And this the report. The acquisition is expected to enhance the petroleum chain infrastructure in a bid to guarantee supply and cost efficiency through reduced damage cost. The project will also enhance the penetration of LPG gas by setting up a 17 billion LPG storage facility in Mombasa that will significantly reduce the cost of LPG.
We see KPRL being, it's at the gateway of East Africa. It's just at the port. As I said, with huge infrastructure in terms of land, close to 400 acres of land. So we'll be able to do a lot of petroleum and therefore making Mombasa as the gateway for the region.
It's a common man fault at KOT2. KPRL has already a wayleaf to the manifold. So as soon as the bulk LPG project is done, ships will call in and they discharge directly to the KPRL facility.
The conversations we have with government today is not to use more of our money, but to partner with private sector. And one of them will be the LPG. Seeing a lot of private sector participation in some of the big projects.
News that is making headlines in the country. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're coming back with stories that are making headlines in the dailies. Keep it science.